Some film about Boston.
Hello, how you doing? Hope the new year has been treating you well. This is the second monthly update for my rap persona of Some Film About Boston. I have some notes here that'll help jog my memory, but I think I should probably be doing all this straight into the camera is the best way to do it without a prompter because I don't have a full news team here. What am I thinking of? See how much I can remember. The important thing I want to tell you for this particular installment is that Paul Klee, that album I may have hinted that I was working on, has finally been distributed. So I will have links to it in the description of this video, and I encourage you to buy or download it if you can. But you can stream it too if you want. I won't fight you on that. I'm curious what artists I come up next to, if it's just the ones that I said when I put in the album. I said that I sounded like MF Doom and Snoop Dogg. I wonder if you turn on MF Doom if, I come up next to it, or if someone else judges whether I sound like MF Doom with Snoop Dogg and then it comes on the rotation. It's interesting conundrum I'm wondering about. Anything else? I am looking for people to collaborate with, to rap with, producers to collaborate with. I don't have a lot of money, so it would probably have to be some kind of an exchange or a bartering. I could rap on a song of yours if you did a beat for me, or do a whatever, vice versa, or whatever. That might be how to go about it. If you felt that was worth your time. As with all volunteer collaborations, everyone does it for different reasons. All I can tell you is that I would let you know if I couldn't, do whatever I said I was going to do in a timely fashion. One of the things I hate about volunteer things is that, because there's no money riding on it, sometimes somebody just never gets back to you or does it because there's no money riding on it. So you're like, well, why would I even agree to do that? Because it would put me in this position where I'm dependent upon the other person to get back to me. And all I can tell you, as someone who's watching this, if you are one of those people who gets frustrated by that, so am I. And I'm just letting you know, because I've been in that situation before so often where I'm dependent upon someone else getting back to me. I try not to do that to anyone else as much as possible. I'm not perfect, but I think I have a much better track record than the people that I find to be pretty problematic in regards to those sorts of things. I'm going to consult my notes here. All right. Oh, okay. Here's some other important stuff. So if you can follow me on Spotify, YouTube Music, and Bandcamp, I'd appreciate that very much. I think if a lot of people are following me, it makes it easier for it to potentially become a viable source of income for me at some point. And I would like that. It would be really nice if I made money from this to the point where, it was like the income from a nice high-paying corporate job, say. I've made a decision. I'm not going to upload music on SoundCloud anymore. The point of uploading music to SoundCloud is that you hope that you get a lot of traction for it, or other people on SoundCloud are going to follow you. But in general, SoundCloud has just kind of become a cesspool of Russian chatbots that are trying to get you to post on their page. So it's just a clout chasing monster. So, not really the case that all these other services aren't, but you pick your battles, right? I mean, ultimately, I am chasing clout as much as I don't want to be part of that system. You pick your battles. Another thing that's kind of interesting, or I think is interesting, I'd like to share with whoever's watching this, because I have faith in myself that the things that I like have inherent value and will be interesting to other people to hear about, is that it's incredibly complicated to do covers of songs on anywhere, YouTube, whatever, because when you do a cover of a song, you have to buy the rights to have it streamed, have it downloaded, or have it, let's see, streamed or downloaded, or have it performed, right? And the way that works is there's a metric for how many times your song has been streamed, right? So if I buy a cheap license for like 200 times, and then 1,000 people listen to it, then I need to then renegotiate that contract up to 1,000. And then if 10,000 people listen to it, I got to renegotiate that. And presumably in a long enough timeline, if I accrue enough covers, then I'm just going to be watching all my songs that I've ever recorded to see whether I need to get a license that covers it for more plays, which just sounds insane because I'm just spending all my time like I'm watching the stock market, trying to see which people are listening to my songs more often, and just constantly worrying about that because I don't have another person to check that out and clear copyrights for me. So there's no point in doing it, because why would you want to do it? You'd want someone to just say, give us this fee, and then you can do whatever the hell you want with it. But that never happens. It's always per however many plays. It's very annoying. Unfortunately, that's also true for performances. There's people who are like, you can't perform if your music is from a certain publisher, then that music can't be played in public unless, you have bought a license from the organization to have the clearance to play it. Very annoying, but that's how they make their money. And additionally, if you like a song, you want to arrange it, that's another thing too. You gotta say, I'd like to arrange your song, and you're gonna do all this work, and to have the right to arrange it, you might make no money on it, but they say if you want to arrange our song, if you want to do Georgia on My Mind as a piano solo transcription, here we need $15,000 or whatever, because everyone wants to arrange Georgia on My Mind. It's unfortunate, but that's true. So I'm not going to be doing too much of that until I get a major label behind me, and I feel like they're going to shoulder the burden of that, which I don't think they would. So I probably will never do a cover. All original songs forever, unless it's really old dead white guys. My employment has taken me down the route of hip hop production, so I might start making more beats using Machine software and the Machine hardware, which I purchased but never really used. I think it might be fun and kind of playful to kind of integrate it with the Machine. I mean, the whole point of the Machine is that you're using it so that you don't have to stare at the computer screen. You can just look at the readout on this DAW, and that's supposed to be healthier, more organic, and I think they're right. I always want to reduce screen time if I can. Yeah, and then again, talking about wanting to collaborate with artists and producers, I think the best route for me and most people is some kind of an artist collective. I always thought that the Wu-Tang Clan was a great example of that. Create another Wu-Tang Clan. That's a goal of mine. That would be beautiful, right? And maybe I'm the RZA of them, I would hope to be somebody else's RZA sometimes. That's what I aspire to be. Not related to anything, but again, this sort of takes the place of a vlog, so I'm just going to tell you about this. I'm seriously considering auditioning for the Metropolitan Opera Chorus and to sing in Chanticleer, an all-male a cappella vocal ensemble. And I'm also trying to figure out how many high-profile chamber music concerts I could participate in before I would be considered by the Lincoln Center Chamber Music Society as one of their pianists. Because I do believe there's a certain amount of high-profile chamber things I could do as a classical pianist, which would cause them to notice me and consider including me as someone on their roster, which would be amazing because I'd get paid a lot of money and they have their own publicity, so I wouldn't have to worry about whether anyone would see the poster because they'd be in charge of all the, Unlike this, which is very grassroots. I don't know if you can tell. Yes, a couple other things I want to share with you. So when you're doing housework, depending on where you are in your life, you might not do any housework, but I do a lot of housework because I own my house, or I'm about to in many, many years. And one of the things that's kind of fun, little life hack, is that if you play music while you're doing your housework, you'll find out that certain things are much shorter than you'd imagine. Like, for instance, taking everything off the kitchen counter and cleaning it and then putting everything back is about the length of The Boys Are Back in Town by Thin Lizzy. Did you know that? Well, it depends on, I guess, the size of your counter and how fast you work. But, when you think of something as only 2 songs worth of work, suddenly it seems a lot more manageable than could potentially be an hour. The other thing, which I think is important to talk about, is that is how to organize your day. So for a long time, I was not a long time, about a week and a half ago, I was trying to obsessively schedule things that I was going to do the next day, the day before, so that I was kind of spontaneous because I was deciding it the day before. But even that is not an ideal way to plan your day because you could still wake up late and you'll still feel like you've messed up 45 things, which you're putting on yourself because it's like not even related to your job. You just decided that you were going to wake up at 5 and you woke up at 9 and you feel terrible about it. So I'm coming up with another idea. Things which are calendar specific. Like, we got 1 day a week to do this. We got to do it. Fine. That's a separate thing, and you navigate that however you want to navigate that. But as far as like listing out all the things you need to do, it obviously can seem daunting to just see all the things you have to do, and you might just not want to do any of them. So my middle ground now is I'm going to list 3 things I want to say I accomplished today. And if I accomplish those 3 things, then we're good. But I'm also understanding if I don't get all 3 things, I forgive myself. But just pick 3 things. Just pick 3 things you want to do. Don't need to do 17 things. Just pick 3. You needed those 3 things today, and that's what you focus on. Don't feel bad about anything else, Hopefully that'll work for me, and I'll tell you if it didn't next month. Another thing important to share, again, because I value the thoughts that are in my noggin, and if I value them and I believe they have inherent worth and value, I believe someone else is going to find this interesting. So I've been playing Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. And for those of you who don't know, Five Nights at Freddy's is where you play a security guard that's in charge of watching a pizzeria called Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is very closely, very similar to Chuck E. Cheese's. And it's sort of a what if, and the what if is, what if the animatronics that you were in charge of making sure they don't get stolen, instead you were worried that they didn't eat you? What if the animatronics walked around of their own volition at night and because of a security circuitry defect, saw any humans that were around at night that were like, such as you as a security guard, as someone that they needed to chomp on their bones? Kind of freaky, right? Kind of horror, right? That's the whole gist of it. For those of you who are not up to speed on Five Nights at Freddy's, that will explain to you. Security Breach is a console version of this game where you play as a small kid named Gregory, and you're trying to also escape from this Freddy Fazbear's Pizzaplex, I guess is it called. It's a giant mall thing. I think it's set in the 80s. It's never quite clear. Anyway, there's a scene in it which I thought was just so creative, and it gives me such delight to think about it and even talk about it, where you're being chased down an alleyway by one of the animatronics called Chica, a chicken animatronic, and you're chased into a security office. And in the security office, you see that there's no way out. So you're in the security office. The way to leave the security office is covered up with boxes. So the door that you would be able to escape is now currently being pounded down by this very, very heavy and strong and able to kill you animatronic who's just pounding down the doors. This giant chicken animatronic. And you are, as a child, in this horrible, precarious situation, very scared. And as you are currently hyperventilating and worrying about it, you hear on your watch, which is sort of like, your watch is basically like an Apple Watch or whatever, you can talk to people on it, your Faz Watch, that Freddy Fazbear, who's the one animatronic that's sort of your helper in this game, said, don't worry, don't fret, you won't die because the computer in this security office is connected remotely to a pizza bakery. And if you can make a pizza with one of the robots in this pizzeria, in this Pizzaplex, before Chica breaks that door down, Chica will now eat that pizza and the bot that made it, incidentally. thereby buying you time to leave from that room. And you have to make a pizza with this pizza robot before Chica breaks down the door and eats you. And I think that is so creative. I just want to tell everyone about it, including anyone who's watching this video right now. Hope you enjoyed that. It gives me such pleasure to just even imagine that situation. I got my downstairs computer to dual boot Linux and Windows. And the reason I still have it boot into Windows is because with as many software things as Linux has been able to do, Windows still can load up the Native Instruments plugin, which is not feasible to do on Linux easily, as far as I can tell. You can do everything except that. So Linux is very cool and very efficient, but I'm still going to need to use Windows until Native Instruments starts getting a native Linux update. So, just so you know, if you have a crotch in your pants that's worn thin, like dress pants, some people recommend darning it. And darning is very fun as a hand sewing thing, the way you would darn a sock, right? I thought it might be fun and more efficient to try and do it with a sewing machine. The reason that does not work, and I learned that the hard way yesterday, is because a sewing machine goes in a straight line. And darning is kind of like a free-for-all. Darning is just sort of like, sew all the time and just reinforce the fabric with some more fabric. You're just going to make a giant big net. Much harder to do that with a sewing machine. So if you ever find yourself in that position, I'm just letting you know, you should just use iron-on patches. That's it. And then just reinforce the crotch on the inside just so that you don't find them to get worn again. Just buy some iron-on patches around the same color as your pants. Iron them on. Sew them back on it if you're worried that they're going to fall off because they're cheap patches. And then reinforce the back with some kind of fabric. Because it takes way too long to darn them by hand. And a sewing machine can't do it. It literally is not designed to do that kind of stuff. So now you've learned from my failures. Another thing, I'm getting to the end here, I swear. That's what I was going to say. I am grateful for getting better at being non-judgmental about how fast or slow it takes for my friends to get back to me. And additionally, I'm also very grateful that I've been able to recognize that certain people just won't get back to me at all, or will get back to me very lately, and that does not have to be an argument or a fight with them. That's just something that they do. And if it's important to me to have a friend that responds very quickly, I need to find that friend. But it's not my responsibility to make the friend that I currently have those qualities. We are all adults. We've all chosen how we want to interact with people, how quickly or how not so quickly we want to interact. And that's what we're getting, you know? That's the nature of it. I have some gratitude that I have therapy regularly. I have gratitude that my children get the same musical instruction that I got as a child. I have gratitude for having a chance with both my undergraduate and graduate music professors to play four hands and two piano respectively with them. I have gratitude I got the chance to do a song with Abby Powell, who's a very talented mezzo-soprano, operatic mezzo-soprano. You should check her out, Abby Powell. She's very cool. I am grateful I got the chance to accompany Arthur Woodley, who is now deceased, on the tuba mirum from the Mozart Requiem at a funeral he was singing for a friend. It happened to coincide with the time I was at a church job in Forest Hills, Queens. I will never get a chance like that this side of existence to do it again, since he is now passed on to the eternal kingdom. But I'm grateful I got a chance to do that. I'm just mentioning this because I'm just trying to put some good juju out. I'm going to get into the end here, I swear. I'm grateful I got a chance to sing bass with Matt Corris and two other people who I'm just going to say their first names because I don't know if they really want to be identified. So I'm just going to say Katrina and Matt, and you know who you are. I'm grateful I got a chance to do that. I'm grateful I had a chance to play for Artur Rubinstein's son. His name is John Rubinstein, and he originated the role of Pippin on Broadway, and I played for him when I was 11 years old, and I was very happy I got a chance to do that. I decided today is a good day to be grateful for it. To the end here, I swear. I'm grateful I had a chance to play Jumpin' Jack Flash on a milk crate with a bunch of bums at NYU when I was about 17 on a date with a girl. Yep. I'm grateful I had a chance to hang out. There's 2 women I'm thinking of right now who they do not speak to me. One is because I haven't spoken to them in a long time, and I reached out and they didn't get back to me, and that was fine because I used to date them, and it's kind of awkward, so why would you get in touch with me? The other one, it was a conscious effort because we had a horrible argument, and as a result of what I said during that argument, they're not talking to me. And the funny thing is, you might say, well, you should just be sad about that. And yes, I am sad about that. I wish I had an opportunity that, circumstances had worked out in such a way so that it was feasible to still be on speaking terms with them. Of course I do. That is not feasible right now. But I can still be grateful that I had a chance to hang out with them when I did hang out with them. So I am. I'm very grateful. I like them. I think that they're very funny. Both of them are very funny women. And I am grateful for the times I had with them as a platonic friend. And in the case of one of them as a dating. But yeah, I'm grateful for that. And that's what I choose to focus on. Having the wisdom to know when a tough conversation with someone will not be fruitful or a good idea. I'm grateful I know that because I didn't know that when I was younger. I thought everyone could be converted to my way of looking at things. And now I know that is not at all the case, and I don't need to feel bad about that. I don't need to fault myself that very few people think the way I do. And lastly, I'm grateful for all the different pianos I can play with Piano Tech, which is a digital piano program. And sometimes I'll have to play a piano for a concert, and it's a digital piano, and I don't really like the sound the digital piano has. But they have a MIDI out, and then because if they have MIDI out, I can use a laptop and I can play Piano Tech on it. And then suddenly it's a 1922 Erard piano. It's pretty amazing. So I hope you got something out of this. Updating you on my life. And stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much. All right, bye-bye.